This here is my first carving on a so-called phrasing machine. 70 years ago, I learned how to use that machine. The best way I can explain what a phrasing machine is you take a drill press and put it on the side and you have it chucked. You can put a dentist drill, you can put a cutter, which is an inch in diameter, and cut away. I never touched anything with a knife or a chisel. And this here is the type of work that I do. I learned to use this machines 7 years ago when I was phrasing for New England Novelty. It was engraving bracelet by the machine. And I thought, well, there's something else that can be done with it, and I started practicing a little, and that's how I did it. I have been wood carving with a knife for 86 years, and well, I have kept going, and I have about 40 of them, including the life-size crucifix that I have in St. Cecile's Church. If anybody goes to St. Cecile's Church, will see that 6-foot crucifix that I cut, a tree that I cut down from the Brothers Notre Dame's lot, and I worked on it 250 hours, and then gave it to the church. Okay. Well, this is made out of rosewood. It's a natural color. And well, it's I just carve individual pieces and put them right on there to make the whole thing. This here is a Johnny Appleseed. I made that in 1997, and so I have one also on that visitor's place on Route 2. I give him one of those. And I also have out in France, I got some carving also, and as well as in England and Canada. This year I remember, I might have been 5 or 6 years old when I remember this, but what I remember is that the breath of the horses just going by the house. And they were going over to where my father worked at a sawmill, and well, I thought it would make an interesting thing to do. It's out in Canada. I was born out in Canada. This here, my wife Gladys used to tell me that when she was a kid, Mr. Bergeron would come and get them once a month to play card. This here is Mechanic Street here, and the old dump was over here. And then down there is Miss Bergeron's house. They used to go and play there. And I thought, well, she was telling me about it, and I thought that it would make an interesting thing. So that's how come all my my wife's brothers and sisters right there. Over here, this is following the buffaloes. It must be spring because there's a colt there, so they must be heading north again. A whole bunch of them, including the dog, which has a bundle to carry also.
You did all these things, Louis? Huh? You did the head too?
No, Phil Cormier.
Oh,
You know Phil?
Phil Cormier.
Yeah.
Is that a carving?
Let me see. Phil. It's not Phil Cormier. Phil.
Cody?
Cody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Phil.
Yeah, he's the one that made that. Well, he was hand carving. You see, Phil was hand carving.
Yeah.
And I saw him doing. I says, "Look, this here is so slow. Why don't you come up to the house and I'll show you how to use a phrasing machine?" So he came over for about a year, and then he was doing some wooden carving. Very, very good. He's as good a man as I've ever seen, outside of maybe Zygmunt Albrecht used to work in my department designing jewelry, button, toys, and dolls. And so he made this head, this bust of me. This is a little country place by the name of St. Claude in Canada, where I was born. I was born in this house here. The school I went to until I was 12 years old when we came to this country. And the next door neighbors, the Vezinas used to live in there. The Vezinas that are in town. The old people have all passed away, but I mean, the Vezinas are the same family. The creamery, blacksmith shop. My dad, who was an engineer, but he would help in between time. And 80 years ago, 85 years ago, when I was a kid, we used to use oxen to do the work. So that day, I went and brought my father something to drink and eat, and with a little dog who was very little, maybe 18 inches long, and we could hear him barking in a distance. But then in the afternoon, I said, "Well, I'm going home. We'll come home with you." So we could hear him barking, and he must have got into a woodchuck hole and never came out. We felt bad because Grandma had given it to us. This here is carved out of lucite, plastic, and it's a lamp. I just turn it on, and then the whole thing lights up. I carved that in '87. And this here is Mo's family. The old man is eating something from the water while the old lady is resting. And this here is, well, I thought this was very good. I had it in the museum in Fitchburg, and there was a man touching all over. I go to him and I says, "Do you like that?" He says, "Oh boy," he says, "I like that. A mother bear with the polar bear with the baby." Come to find out, the man was blind. I forgot to ask him, "How do you know it's a polar bear?" Most likely he felt of the seal here, because they can tell so much with their hands. And so I was surprised that he knew that it was polar bear, because what's the difference unless you see it, a polar bear or another type of bear. A mountain lion, which is looking around for something to eat. He's chasing the little colt. So I made this in 1979, and this here is carved out of cherry, and I like this quite well because I mean there's so much grace, so much, so nice, those belly dances. This here is made out of it's natural wood. This is a natural color. It's paduk. It's an African wood. So we used to work with wood down a shop making jewelry, and so I bought a board and then made this here. This here is my great-grandchildren from Texas. The mother saw it and she wanted one, so I made one also for the mother. And this here is the first time here I am, about 6-7 years old. First time I went to a midnight mass in Canada. We used to live over on this side here, and then the neighbors asked me would I go with the kids, so off we went. And my godfather lived there, my grandmother lived here, and another uncle lived here. So that's I might have been about 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old. During the Second World War, I used to go over to Fort Devens, Lovell General Hospital, to work with the soldiers to show them how to do some wood carving. But I found that it wasn't practical, so I started the wood carving with soap. And then, in order to show them what detail we could put, I took a bar of soap and I made this wagon. And then I I went ahead and took another bar of soap and made the 4 horses, and then I put a cow and a bull in the back here, the ladies, and then the horse there. And then a soap after 10 to 12 years is starting to get yellow and to fall apart. So my son told me, he says, this is so nice that why don't you make one out of wood? So I went ahead and started making this here. But I made, this is the second one I made. Somebody wanted the other one so bad that I sold it to him, except that it wasn't, it didn't have these horses here. And the second one I made, well, I added these horses to have the farmer used to take the produce from the farm and bring it to the city to exchange for clothes and food and sugar and so on. So I thought I would add that to it. And one of these are for you also. This crucifix, I just finished it the other day. This is for the new deacon in the St. Cecilia's Church. I give the crucifix to each of the priests. I mean, whenever a new priest comes in, I give him a crucifix. And over here, this wolf I made. I don't remember the date on there, but it's a light where the moon in the back lights up, and it looks as if the wolf was howling at the moon.
Very nice.
This here is a clock that I made, thinking that a seal always has to carry a ball on his nose, so I thought I'd make the clock as a ball on a seal's nose. It's made out of oak. Now, over here, I have the it says September 11th, New York firemen raising our flag over the Twin Tower. So there was a picture on the paper, so I thought I'd make this. It reminds me of the bad time that we had that time, 9/11. And over here I have a couple of horses. I got a couple of horses fighting, and so the base was made, a piece of wood that I took and used a chainsaw to carve the base. And I also have over here, see, made out of lucite, also plastic. The mother will return. She's leaving the little baby to go and have a bite to eat, and then she will be returning. Yeah, that's about all what we have in here. Now, we'll go on the sun porch.
A lot of awards, huh, Louis?
What?
A lot of awards.
Yeah. This year's this. I was the first citizen of the year in 1982. Over here, and then there's, well, the top part is when they named that playground in back of the church, named after me. Lions have been very good to me. I mean, so many things that they have done. Now, I was invited to the Smithsonian Institute in 1982 to do carving for a week, a couple of weeks. They invite a state, and it happened to be Massachusetts, so we went there. And while I was at the Smithsonian, I carved this here. So there's 3 wolves chasing 5 there. And if you could look into the river, you will see some little fishes swimming. This here's the little kid next door. She across the street. She came over, picked up a dandelion, and my wife and I were having a bite to eat. So I said, "Look, she must be saying, 'Do you like butter?'" So the little dog with a little tail. And this here is fatso. It's he must have been well fed, because I mean he's pretty fat. This one here, I was shown this one time, and there was a little kid says, "Oh boy, that poor horse must be dead." "Oh no, no," I says, "he's not dead." I says, "I had another horse on the table, so I says, there he is right there." This is the only antelopes that we have in this country, the pronghorn, and they're out in the Middle West in the plain. So I thought I'd make this here as being one of the only antelopes we have in this country. Now over here, sugar time in St. Claude. This here is here I am on a horseback, and my father and the farmer next door are picking up the sap to make sugar. And this here, I was having a haircut, and I was looking through the magazine, and I saw this, and I asked the guy, "Can I have this?" So I thought I'd make this. The water's made out of lucite, and the rest of it is wood. This here is the first time that I saw a train. I was about 7 years old, because the train was about 5 or 6 miles from the house. So that day, my cousin was going by, and I says to my mother, "Can I go with him? I'd like to see a train in St. Cyr." So I got in with him, and then as we crested a hill, there was a train going by, and it was filled with First World War soldiers, where they were going to Quebec City to take the boat across. This here is startled, because there's a little mouse there just running away from him. They don't want to become a meal.
You don't have to pull it out, will you? Just leave it there.
This here is a mountain lion having a drink, and the water is a mirror, so that I carved a little and drank a little, and it was, I don't know when I made that one. 1989. Yeah, 1989. This one here says, "Don't jump in, the water's too cold." And it's made out of wood, but it's just painted. And this one here is the last one I made. The end of the trail. I mean, I think it's a well-known statue, but I thought it would make it an interesting thing. And this one here, my mother says to me, she says, "How can you remember? You were 2.5 years old." Well, I says, "I remember like it was yesterday. It was a Sunday, and my father had gone to church, and says there's a bear doing some tricks somewhere in front of the church. So all of a sudden he's in front of our house, so we all go out and see what it is. Here I am hanging on to my mother's dress, because I was afraid the bear could eat you. And this shows the man telling my dad to send our little dog away that was getting towards the bear. So, and these here are the twin brother and sister. So we were, well, I was the 8th one of the family.
You don't have to pull out, Louis.
I know.
Leave it right there. Just
This
talk
here is a bear. It's early spring, and the bear is crossing over, and then he's looking at a fish that just jumped in the water. The little squirrel running away. And this here is Ouch, where the lion is biting the hip on the father, and while this one is chewing on the tail, this one is waiting for his turn. This one is made for
about.
somebody.
Wait a minute, Louis. Slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I get all the pictures here.
Yeah.
You're doing really good. This is really nice.
Thank you.
Light that up a little bit.
You want me to pull it out a little?
No, no, it's fine. Okay. All right.
This here is for somebody in France, and he comes over with kids in exchange, and then he happened to come up the house, and then I made for him that's a replica of Saint Cecilia statue that we have in Saint Cecilia's church, and he wanted a crucifix, so he's supposed to come and get it. This here is a Bronco. It's made out of pear tree. Here I am again, in front of the of our house. There was a field there, and the farmer used to pick up the hay, so we used to go and help him. So my father was here helping the farmer right there.
Which one are you? You on there?
I'm on here.
Oh, you're on top of the pile, huh?
Yep, guiding the horses. And this here is I made the one for somebody in Providence. This guy came here, and I used to do some work for people also, because I was a designer. And so he wanted one of those for his daughter for Christmas. And he gave me a little picture about so long, about 1.5 inches long. So I went to the library, and I got pictures of different. I took the head from one, the body from another, the tail from another, and the hands from another, and so on and so forth, and made this here. And over here, he must be chasing a buffalo to have something to eat. It's made out of oak. And if you notice, the little prairie dog is jumping into his hole there while the other one is running towards the hole. All set?
We going someplace else, or is
Yeah,
that it?
we'll go to in the bedroom here. There's a few more of my things here. They planted a tree in front of the library. There's a tree there that they planted in 1964, and the tree is grown very nicely. And this here, you see, I have one where this is. Oh, Mount Washington Community College. Oh no, this is the one I wanted. Fitchburg State College. They were looking for on their 100th anniversary. They were looking for people that made the difference for the 100 people, and I happened to be one of them. And over here. The first flagpole in Leominster where there was a fellow by the name of Richard Preston. He used to write about Leominster, and he says they took eight oxen and went over where St. Cecilia's Church is right now, and cut a tree and brought it over to the common and set it there. And the old man is digging a hole there, and then there's always kids running with dogs, and Grandpa smoking his pipe. He's going to see what's going on here. And the kids always ask me, because I work with kids for about 20 some odd years, teaching them how to do some styrofoam carving. And when I would bring this here, they would say, "How come there's cows on the common?" Well, I would say this was their lawn mower. Over here. The flight into Egypt. This is made also out of oak. The little infant is not very big, but over here I have dances also. This here in the garden they have dances, and there was a picture like this. I thought it was so graceful. I thought I'd make it out.
Oh, those are painted, huh?
Yeah, these are painted wood paint. What in the world is this? Yeah. Okay. Well, that covers it all up, I guess. Unless you want to see what a frazing machine looks like. All right, this is a frazing machine here. That shows you can see the chuck where I can put.
Can we kill that radio?
Yeah.
It's a. You listen to rock and roll, huh?
Oh, there's not much of anything else to listen to. I mean, while I'm working, it doesn't mean much.
Why don't you start with an explanation of what the machine is, and then maybe you could do some?
Yeah. This is a so-called frazing machine. You can see that there's a chuck where we can put, cut it this size and cut it this size. And I just take and bring the work to it. I will show you in a minute how I do it. And this here this will be a cowboy just jumping off of a bull. This is not finished. You can see the hand is not there yet, and the rest of it is not finished. But I mean, I'm just working on it. And there's all kinds of cutters. I mean, from this size to this size. This here, when I work around the eyes of a figure, you can use a small one like this here. This is shaping the leg on the cowboy. And well, as I need something else, like I'm going to make a pocket on the vest there. So again, we use a little something a little different. A little cutter like this here. A little pocket, and then I will just dig around it like this so they can stick out. And again, another one here. It shows you. I never touch anything with a hand tool or a knife or a chisel. Everything that I do is done on here. This was my first drawing here. Hello.
Hello, Uncle. How are you?
So you're ready.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Come on in.
Hi.
You know Mr. Cormier here?
Mr. Cormier, I don't know.
No, this is.